Hello, my name is Matthew, and I read Vera or The Nihilists. This is a play by Oscar Wilde. It's a historical tragedy set in Russia, and it's his first play that Oscar Wilde wrote for the stage. And my girlfriend suggested that we read it together, which I thought was such an exciting idea. We're always reading books and short stories and things like that, and um, we kind of go back and forth picking things that we can read and enjoy. And she brought up Vera or The Nihilists, and Oscar Wilde is one of my favorite writers. He's one of the first writers that I fell in love with in my early 20s, reading Dorian Gray or The Importance of Being Earnest, Lady Windermere's Fan, An Ideal Husband, a handful of these, the other society plays that are comedies of errors. Um, and at the time, I just couldn't get enough of reading I wanted to read everything that he wrote. His more philosophical essays and his letters, his lectures, his short stories, those fairy tales that he wrote for children and adults. Everything that he wrote just. Andy just jumped on the chair. Everything that he wrote just sparkled with wit and beauty and levity, combined with astute observations of human nature and human folly. And I was at a point in my early 20s where I wanted to read everything by Oscar Wilde. I read the biography by Richard Ellman. I never read Vera or The Nihilists. 18 years ago, it was a totally different landscape as far as being able to find the books that you want to read. The internet wasn't what it is today. E-readers and electronic copies maybe was in the very early stages. It was mostly at the discretion or capability of local bookstores. And I've read a lot of Oscar Wilde, never read Vera or The Nihilists. My girlfriend suggested it, and I went onto my e-reader, downloaded it for free, and had it immediately. It's amazing, and it's a great play. It's not the best. It doesn't compare to a few of his masterpiece of The Importance of Being Earnest, or his other plays that are quite good. But it has a lot of what makes Oscar Wilde so great, and why you want to continue reading as soon as you get his sense of humor and fall into that way that Oscar Wilde can just dazzle you. And it has those things. It has moments where the play really shines. And there's a prologue that sets the stage and allows the whole story to start unfolding. And the prologue is set in Siberia. We're in this barkeeper's household. He has Vera, his daughter, and then his son. He sent off to college, I believe in Moscow. The son's away, and the father is always expecting letters back from his son to see how he's doing. He's continually sending off large sums of money, but not really hearing anything back from his son. His daughter, Vera, is consoling him and saying he's going to write, he will, he's very busy with school, and he's learning and getting an education. And the historical context, which I'm not um, well enough informed to really give a good explanation, but this is at the moment where nihilism is becoming a philosophical movement, and it's a reaction against an oppressive regime um, in Russia with the government and also um, the religious institution. And I think Oscar Wilde keys in on something that um, Dostoevsky and Turgenev and a few other of the Russian writers that I've read, um, I feel like uh, also notice, which is nihilism is inherently kind of funny. Uh, and in this play, it comes up where there's groups of people that go, "We're nihilists. We don't believe in anything." And aside from the larger context of a reaction against the political and religious landscape throughout Russia, even the personal, small scale circumstances are kind of funny, at least from a distance. We have this generation of um, parents. In this story, we have a father who is illiterate. He can't read or write. He doesn't really know anything except his immediate surroundings. He's been working his entire life and basically knows nothing. But he wants the best for his children. And he saved up all of this money to send off his son to get an education. And what happens is the son turns into a nihilist, doesn't believe anything. I think it's very funny. Well, a chain gang comes through passing the barkeeper's establishment and wants to stay for the night. Vera realizes that the son, Dmitri, her brother, is part of the chain gang. He joined the nihilist movement while he was in Moscow and has gotten caught and arrested and banished to Siberia. He tells his sister that she needs to avenge him, and that's the beginning of the play. Vera, when the play begins, Vera is now in Moscow. She has become the leader of the Nihilists. She's this notorious assassin that is known all throughout Europe. The Russian government, the head of the Russian government, so the Tsar and princes all know about Vera and her band of nihilists. And we get these scenes where the nihilists are in a basement or just in these like secret rooms having conversations, plotting and figuring out how they're going to have their schemes. There's secret identities and surprise identities throughout the play. We have one of the best scenes, in my opinion, one of the best scenes where the Tsar is in his court. There's princes and noblemen, and everyone in the room are sycophants and entirely corrupt. And they're basically looking at the people of Russia as the enemy. And the Tsar comes bursting in, and this is the one scene that I would absolutely love to see on stage, because the Tsar would just be chewing up scenery. He's mad with power, Andy. He's mad with power, but he's also paranoid and panicked, and he knows that there's a large population that wants him dead. He in fact gets assassinated. But he walks in and he sees one of his guards that he doesn't recognize holding a sword, and he goes, "I don't know that man. Execute him." Turns to someone else, like, have him banished. Things like that. And the play goes along. It's for all of the surprises, it's still everything you would kind of expect to happen in a play like this. But my favorite parts are the moments where Oscar Wilde's sense of humor, or those really great turns of phrases, pop up. So the play doesn't have many strong characters. Even Vera isn't very much of a character. We don't know much about her personality. None of the characters have much of a personality. It's a plot driven, situational play. But the moments where Oscar Wilde's little one liners pop up, the moments where you know this is a line that he used at a dinner table and got a rise out of the entire room, and he knows it's a line that'll land, and so he starts throwing it in. And that's to me, what's interesting is almost thinking like how Oscar Wilde's mind might have been working, just my own guesswork. His later plays, he dispenses with really trying to have a plot, really trying to have characters, just wants to have everybody be a mouthpiece for Oscar Wilde. Every character is just throwing out Oscar Wilde lines, in The Importance of Being Earnest or Ideal Husband or whatever. This play, they only sort of pop up every once in a while. So it's interesting to read and notice, like, what are the parts where he's trying to have a historical play, trying to have a drama, trying to move the plot forward, and then what are the moments where he just knows he has a golden killer line, a line that is just going to, like, as an example, there's a prince that gets banished by the Tsar, and he goes off and joins up with the Nihilists. And he enters, and the prince goes, "I was banished." And somebody says, "To Siberia?" And he goes, "No, Paris." Just things like that. Overall, it was extremely enjoyable to read. As a big fan of Oscar Wilde, he gets, for me, he gets all of the goodwill that I could extend as a reader. It's certainly not his best play. It's not a good play to start with. It's not a good follow-up reading experience. There's a long list of brilliant works by Oscar Wilde to be read before I would recommend reading Vera or the Nihilists. So I'm super happy that I read it. It might be the last. I'd have to double check, but it might be the last play that I hadn't read by Oscar Wilde. And it was fun. It's super quick. It can be read in maybe 2 hours. It's a very short, charging, fast-paced reading experience, and it was great. So Vera or the Nihilists, the first play by Oscar Wilde, it was great fun. So that's what I have to say about the play. Okay. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you've read it. Let me know if you have any favorite, what your favorite plays are, or the ones that you prefer by Oscar Wilde. I would love to hear it. or if you have any comments about any of the things that I just said, things like that. So leave a comment if you would like. And thank you for watching, and take care.